How's it, guys? Welcome to That Freaking Geek. And in today's episode, as you can see, we've got a little bit different here today. And today we're kind of finally being in front of a camera because we kind of started that in the beginning of the year. I started trying to be more in front of the camera so you don't just hear my voice. But today you get to see my very cute face in all its glory. And so today I will be going through the top 10 video games of the previous generation. Basically everything that's been happening in the last 7 or so years. We've had incredible luck with the likes of the PS4 and the Xbox One showing us some really kiff stuff, and then halfway through we got the Nintendo Switch with some really kiff games there too. Right now I'm playing Breath of the Wild, and so I didn't put this on my list just because of the fact that I haven't finished it. I will get through it and it's been really kiff. But I have mentioned one Nintendo Switch game for this generation kind of list. So let's get right into it. So before I kind of get into the top 10, I'm going to talk about some honorable mentions, some games that didn't make the top 10 but I absolutely have to talk about. First being The Witcher. The Witcher 3 was an absolutely incredible game. The RPG elements that are featured in this game are so kiff. Playing as such an amazing character, Geralt of Rivia. Back when I played in 2015, it was my game of the year 2015. Heck, it was my game of the generation for so many years. But things have changed because a lot of great games came out. And then of course there's Jedi Fallen Order, another really kiff game, but this game came out last year. Jedi Fallen Order puts you in the shoes of a Jedi in a very uncertain time, in a time where Jedis were not allowed to be Jedis. And the incredible work that EA did absolutely astounded me. It was such a kiff experience being able to play as a Jedi. Probably one of the best, if not the best, Star Wars games. Then of course there's Uncharted 4. I think Naughty Dog makes incredible games. Each and every time they release a game, it's so incredible. This game is so gorgeous to look at. Every scene in the game feels like it's something out of a painting, something out of a real life movie. It's so action packed and it's such a draw. And Nathan Drake is so much fun and he's a great character to play. The next game I want to kind of give mention is the game Overwatch. I don't know if you love multiplayer games, but every now and again I do. I'm not a huge fan of multiplayer games, but Overwatch, I absolutely loved the amount of fun that I had playing as the various characters. I think this literally took what multiplayer could do and took it to the next level. I played so many hours of this game, but not so much anymore. Multiplayer games, once again, not really my favorite thing, but this game took me away like no multiplayer game has ever done. Another quick mention would be the horrific Resident Evil 7. Oh my gosh, the amount of times that I had to pause and just think about what I had just seen. It was so horrific and it was so scary all the time. But it's really, really good, and I really look forward to Resident Evil 8 coming out next year. I know it's going to be absolutely kiff. But another quick one is Hellblade. Senua Sacrifice. I played this for the first time I think a couple months ago. Finally I got a chance to play this very short, almost indie game, but it doesn't feel indie because it literally was built by such an incredible team who put so much heart and care into the Norse mythology to pull off a game that was basically about overcoming fear, overcoming your psychologicalness in your head that feels like everything inside of you feels like it's against you, where in actual fact you do have people with you, and this game teaches you how to be better in the space of your psychic. It's incredible. It's a really, really incredible game. I do recommend that you give it a chance. And then lastly, I'm not a sports fan. I'm definitely not a racing car fan, but I have to say Forza Horizon 4, what a game, what a beautiful game. The team behind it pulled off something so incredible that I kept on coming back to it each and every single time. This game, if you love racing car games, this is probably the best racing car game I've ever played, but it's an absolute joy to ride around all of Britain. And they've really created a beautiful masterpiece, and the team behind it are making the next Fable game, and I will buy an Xbox Series X just for Fable because, oh my word, it's so good. Alright, now let's get into the top 10 list. We have in the 10th position Horizon Zero Dawn. Now you see, the thing about this game, the reason why it's number 10 is because as much as I loved the incredible world that Guerrilla Games have curated here, and I love the action, the bow, the robotic dinosaurs, everything about this game just screamed so much fun. But what kind of put me off a little bit, and that's why it's number 10 for a lot of people, it's like in their top 5, is because of the fact that I'm not very good at video games sometimes, and this was quite a hard video game, and it just got a bit tiresome because every time I'd have to fight a dinosaur, it would feel like an event every single time, and it got a bit tiresome. But I'm really looking forward to the sequel that comes out next year. And then in 9th position is my game of the year from last year, Control. Now, Control is an incredibly beautiful game that's made by Remedy Games, the guys who gave us Alan Wake. And the thing about this game is that it literally puts you into a space that you have no idea what's going on, and you start to uncover the story one by one about what on earth is going on in this giant government building. And all of a sudden you're like the head, the CEO of this company, and you're like, what? I just walked in, I thought it was just a normal person, but in actual fact you're the CEO of this thing. And it gets weirder and weirder and weirder each step of the way. And the controlling of this game, no pun intended, is so dynamic. As you can fire, you can float, you can shoot, you can literally do so many various things. This game has so much dynamics to its gameplay. In 8th position is a kind of an indie game. I never thought I'd ever have an indie game amongst my top 10. I'm a bit of a snob when it comes to playing the highest quality of video games, but this one is the highest quality of video games, and it doesn't have the best graphics. In fact, it has very old school graphics that we never thought we would love again in this current generation. And Undertale tells a beautiful story of you yourself getting lost in this weird underground world and discovering so many weird and wonderful characters. And by the end, you fight this weird flower thing that, guys, actually I'm not even going to try and explain. You need to go play this game for yourself. Storytelling in this game, it is incredible, and oh my word, I did not stop laughing. Every word of the dialogue is so hilarious. And then in number 7 is another incredible game that I played last year, which was this year, actually it was just a couple months ago, my bad, was Ghost of Tsushima. This game, as you saw from my review recently, is incredible in so many different ways. When I heard about this game, I never thought it would be as good as it was, and yet it was. Like the sword play in this game, you feel like a samurai. There is no game that can rival this game. It is so good. And if you have a PS4, you absolutely have to grab this game if you really always dreamed of being a samurai, because this game right here shows you that you can be a samurai in a video game. On to the next one is the Nintendo Switch game here on my list. It is Mario Odyssey, of course. Guys, I think I bought a Nintendo Switch just for this video game. Guys, I absolutely love Mario. I mean, I kind of grew up with it. I played Mario Galaxy when I was a kid, but mainly, I absolutely love the character that Nintendo has created, and I love platforming, but this has brought platforming to such a new level of just pure fun. You know, sometimes you get home and you want to play a game and you kind of just get bombarded by a bunch of kids on Call of Duty, or you kind of just feel very overwhelmed by a very serious story. But you know what Mario does? It just gives you a smile every single level. There is something new to smile at, and I absolutely love the joy that Mario Odyssey brings, and so that is why it is number 6 on my list. And now we're going into the top 5. In 5th position, we have Red Dead Redemption 2. Guys, Red Dead is an incredible game. The first game, when I played it back 10 years ago, I was completely blown away by what Rockstar had created. I personally love the Red Dead Redemption series more than the GTA series, just because of the level of detail they've brought to their Western world. A world that is completely detailed from the smallest grain of sand to the biggest building. There is so much detail in this game, and it's one of those games where you're literally thrust upon a world that is so real that you can't believe that this is a video game. This kind of gets me worried about the future, where we might be living in video games and simulations, because if Red Dead Redemption can pull off this, just imagine what video games can do in the future, because this is as real as it gets when it comes to a video game imitating life. In 4th position, now I love Assassin's Creed, and if you know me, you know that I love Assassin's Creed. And so there were 2 games that came out. There was Origins and there were Odyssey, and I couldn't separate them. They both were good in their own ways. I absolutely love Origins with this Egyptian setting, and I love playing as Bayek. He's an absolutely incredible assassin who just wants to get revenge to the people that wronged him. But then you get Odyssey, where you play as either Cassandra or Alexios, and you go through this incredible odyssey through the Greek islands, and it's such a beautiful game, and it's such a beautiful recreation of the Greek culture back in ancient Greece, and I absolutely love all the mythology around it. Like, both of these games are so good, and so that's why they're both sharing the 4th spot. Alright, now in 3rd position, there is the web-slinging Spider-Man. Oh my gosh, when I got this game on PS4, I mean, guys, I knew it was going to be good. I mean, we saw the trailers and we saw all the gameplay trailers. Oh my gosh, we knew this game was going to be good, but did we think it was going to be that good? I didn't. But when we finally got our hands to start absolutely web slinging all around New York, and the dynamics in the way that you like swing and go from there, and then you punch and then you kick, I can't explain it. Like, you just have to play it. Maybe there's some like footage of the gameplay going over me right now. Look how much fun that is, guys. If you haven't played Spider-Man, you really do, especially with Miles Morales, the sequel to the game, coming out on PS5 and actually PS4 very soon. And so, guys, play Spider-Man. That is my third favorite game. And then in 2nd position, it's the very dark but incredibly poetic video game, The Last of Us Part 2. Now, everyone has been looking forward to this game since the first game came back in 2013. And we thought we were going to get a good old trip down memory lane, but nope. Instead, the game took you, stabbed you in the face, and told you just be okay with it. This game was not holding back any of its punches. One by one, it hit again, and kept on coming back for more until the very end. The game knew what it was trying to do, and I think it pulled it off flawlessly. Every part of the game is so incredible. I think back when I reviewed the game, I kind of gave it a 9.6, 9.7 because I don't think it deserves the perfect score. But right now, I think it does deserve the perfect score because I think there is some things that I've realized about the game that no other video game has ever done. The Last of Us Part 2 is in every way a masterpiece. But, however, it is not better than the best game of this generation, my personal best game of this generation, and that would be God of War. God of War was one of those games, when it was announced, there are videos on the internet that when it was announced at E3, people were cheering it on as if we had just won the Rugby World Cup. There were so many people excited for the return of Kratos, but we didn't think we would see a father side of Kratos, a Kratos that absolutely cares for his son, but not in the way that most fathers do. He messed up, he says the wrong thing sometimes, he's human. He's more than just a god, he is human. And the beautiful thing about the story is that it brings him and his son to go on a journey together to finally bury their mother in a place that she wants to be buried. And it's an absolute story of that. But more importantly, oh my word, the way that you can throw that axe around, every single time, I just literally, in the beginning of the game, you should just throw the axe just for fun, because the way that it goes and it swings back, I don't know if you guys like seen Thor, but when you throw that, it comes back, it's so freaking cool, guys. I absolutely love the gameplay in this game, but more so, I love the story elements of what Atreus meant to his dad Kratos. It was such an incredible game, and yeah, guys, that is number one. I don't know if you agree with my top 10 list. I know some people won't, and some people might. But why don't you go into the comment section right now and see for and kind of write for yourself what is your top 10 games. I'd love to hear. Tell me where I'm wrong, tell me where I'm right, but more importantly, why don't you just get involved in this? Like it, share it, do whatever you need to do. But I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.